Yes, all it is now is just an orange glow. That's all I can see.
That's the sound of a UFO captured in 1981 on audio. And I'll play the rest of the audio in a minute. Now, we see hundreds of thousands of UFO videos on social media, on TV, in documentary films, in the movies, thousands of them. But how often do we hear the sound of a UFO? Well, in this audio, we're going to hear what is allegedly a genuine UFO sound. Now stay till the end of this video, because at the end we're going to do some analysis of that audio to see what it tells us. It's from 1981, so we'll see what we can get. Now before I play this audio in its entirety, let's just jump into what this case is and how we came to have this audio. On March 17th, 1981, at 4:03 AM, Sgt Russell Yokum of the St Helens, Oregon Police Department is on patrol on US Highway 30 on the edge of town when he sees a bright spherical object apparently above the Columbia River. He goes to the Columbia County Courthouse for a better view, where he's joined by other police officers, but the object is no longer visible. Meanwhile, they're conversing via CB radio with Donald Atkins, who is nearby in Ridgefield, Washington, and watching the same stationary object over the river. Atkins transmits a faint humming sound the object is making through his CB radio to Officer Ricky Cade, who captures it on a cassette recorder. Yokum and Cade look to the south and see the bright orangey red light about 80 to 100 feet above the river, apparently the same one that Atkins is watching. And this is the audio that they capture on that cassette tape.
Yes, all it is now is just an orange glow. That's all I can see. The sun is coming up. Better not be. It's awful early. Awful early for the sun paper, Joe. I don't think the sun would just be in that one spot. I think it's moving out, you guys. Oh, we're watching. We moved up to a higher vantage point, so you tell us what it does. Well, listen. It's revving up its engines. Can you hear it? I hope. Because it's sure cold out here. Yes, we are. Sounds like to me a power plant diesel motor and a screeching noise in between it there, or with it. Okay, we're listening. 4:29 a.m. Just for the record.
Okay, so let's jump into some analysis. I've put this through several different types of artificial intelligence to try and give us as much information, extract as much data as possible. So I've got some graphs and I've got some information, which I think is going to help the hypothesis that this is not a conventional sound. Let's jump into it. So we've got a waveform analysis and a spectrogram analysis. We get a little bit technical here, but let's get to the basics. Let's simplify this a little bit. This is narrow frequency bands. It resembles a synthetic or engineered signal. There's a lack of harmonics or any kind of a specific pattern that we recognize. And if we look at reports of UFO encounters, high pitch or low frequency hum, which is present in this audio, reports of electromagnetic interference, which is present in this audio, possible frequency or control modulation, absence of natural or human sounds. Again, there's no ambient environmental noise in this audio, and then that pulsing and mechanical pattern which we hear from UFO reports and encounters, again subtle in waveform in this audio. There are dominant frequency peaks at 861 Hertz. This falls within a low audio frequency range, not typical for human speech, which usually is 300 to 3400 Hertz, and not part of a standard CB radio transmission frequency either, which operates on megahertz range. So the narrow, persistent frequency could suggest a machine-like tone, and in its low placement, it could be a vibration or a hum, those kind of characteristics. So possibly linked to electromagnetic or propulsion system audio leakage. Interesting. It does have a strikingly engineered audio in nature, some kind of a machine EM leakage or mechanically resonant system. So the strongest frequency components are the 465 to 475 Hertz and the 861 Hertz, which is a low audio frequency range. So that's interesting. 861 Hertz and then 465 to 475 Hertz. So I found this interesting because of a couple of reasons. Now, it's not an exact science, but when we extract some data from the audio, we can compare the wavelength, the frequency, all that sort of stuff to known frequencies, to known, wavelength, different sounds that we know exist, and we can associate them with certain things, some things that are conventional. What I was able to associate this with, and again, it's not an exact science, there are other things that it would associate with, but this is interesting, with electromagnetic countermeasures used by the military between 400 and 900 megahertz, the 400 900 hertz range. So machinery wise, that's interesting. And naturally, whales, as in, in the ocean, whales, between 15 and 800 hertz. So they can hit 400 to 600 hertz. So that's interesting. Again, not an exact science, and I'm sure there are other things that it would match, but electromagnetic countermeasures from military systems back in 1981, or the sound of whales. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, look, I found it really fascinating. It's great to be able to dissect some of these cases, certainly ones that go back decades and decades and decades, because not a lot of people have. And now that we've got AI, ChatGPT, Grok, all of these different super intelligent systems where you can just drop stuff in and it will just ping all the data out, and then you can associate that data with other things, and you can research it as if you've got an entire research team behind you, when in fact you're just using your mobile phone or your computer, which is pretty cool. We've never really been able to do that before, and now we can. So the more of these cases that we're able to go back to and reassess, the better. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've seen better analysis anywhere else or more information out there that might be able to help put some pieces together. Stick it in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.